Hey everybody, this is Ben. I'm back again this week for another cigar review. And this week I'm doing a first review of 3 of the new Viaje releases that came out this week. This week they came out with the Viaje Winter Classic, the Friends and Family, and the last one was the Sure Shot. And this is the first installment of that one. This is the 10 gauge. And they're coming out in 10 gauge and 12 gauge. They're 3.5 inch cigars. All Nicaraguan, but we don't know what the wrapper is. I can't be able to find out what the information is about the blend or anything like that. I just know it's Nicaraguan. The 10 gauge and the 12 gauge differ only in the ring gauge. The ring gauge of the 10 gauge is a 54 ring gauge, and the 12 gauge is a 52 ring gauge. So anyway, there you have it. You see from here, I mean, this is a super oily cigar. I mean, it's a really oily cigar. There's the cap there. Pretty nice cap. A slightly covered foot. Actually, that one's way covered. The other one I had was not covered hardly at all. But, get a shot in there. Come on, focus. There you go. And you can see that is a very oily stick. Now, these are supposed to be really full-bodied cigars. Really full-bodied. So, anyway, let's get cutting on this thing and see what it's like. Now, these retail for about $7.50 a stick for the 10 gauge, and I would think that probably the 12 gauge would be around $7 or something like that, a little bit cheaper. But anyway, they come in a really cool box, and the pictures you saw before this review, 2 of them came from Andre's Facebook page, Andre Farkas, that's the owner of Viaje, and the other one's my buddy Mike Mando at the Cigar Shop Biloxi took pictures of them and was able to send them to me the day they came in. So anyway, let's cut this thing and see how it goes. Nice clean cut. Now, even with the closed foot, I still get a really good draw on it. I get that good milkshake draw that I really like. The flavors that I'm getting off this right off the bat is a really rich, deep, woody flavor, and not like that cedar kind of a flavor, but it's almost more. It's just a richer wood. I mean, it kind of reminds me of, I don't know. I'm trying to think of something else. I mean, like kind of like a real resiny type of wood, like a rosewood or something like that. Just, I don't know, just something that's got a really deep, strong wood flavor, but not that spicy, cedary kind of flavor though. But also on that note, it has a lot of spice. Even on the cold draw, there's a lot of spice in this cigar. A lot of spice. It also has a rich, earthy character too. So anyway, let's see how this thing goes. I use my big Lotus again. It didn't work so well last time, but it was cold, so there we go. First time. You saw metal lighters, they're just real finicky with the temperature. I mean, if it's even a little bit cold, they just won't spark up, won't flame up real well. But it's a very hot and humid day in South Mississippi, so that's not a problem. You can see it puts out a ton of smoke. Right off the bat, it's just a very rich cigar, very rich. You get a really nice black pepper taste on it, and it's not so much that tingling black pepper you usually get with Nicaraguan tobacco, but actually that real taste of black pepper. It's real woody, and there is a hint of sweetness to it, but there also is a really nice bitter, like a bitter coffee note in there too, right off the bat. It's got a really strong start to it already. So far I'm really liking this cigar, this Viaje. So, I know, surprising, ain't it? But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead. It's only a 3.5 inch cigar. I'm only gonna smoke it to the halfway point, and then I'll let you know what my thoughts are then. See you in a second. Hey everybody, I'm back. Now I'm at the halfway point. Shit. At the halfway point, you can see the ash held on the entire cigar to about the halfway point. As you can see though, it is burning a little bit one-sided, but it's not too bad though. It's a very, very oily cigar, and it's a pretty humid day here on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. So I'm kind of surprised that it's actually burning as well as it is, to be honest. But nonetheless, there's been no relights, no touch-ups. You know, it's been a little bit of a lopsided burn, but not bad. Not what I thought would be a lot worse, to be honest. But anyway, the flavors of this cigar is a really rich, woody flavor to it, and it has a bitter coffee note to it with some spice. Now, right where about the halfway point the ashes fell off, you got like a nuttiness and a hint of sweetness, but you really didn't get that. I mean, it was a little telltale signs of it, but when you retrohale the cigar, you really can pick it up. It's really nice. It's really turning into more of a sweeter, nuttier kind of a smoke, and that wood and spice is dying down a little bit, but it's still there, very strong. That's still the two dominant notes, but those other notes are starting to come in now, and then that coffee bitterness is kind of an accent flavor throughout the whole cigar. It's there. It's not very strong, but you get it. You get that coffee bitterness throughout. Anyway, so far so good. I'm gonna finish this off, and I'll be back to let you know my conclusion. See you in a second. Everybody, I'm back. See, I'm getting right at the end of this thing now, but actually I have to tell you, I'm going to try to keep smoking it past this, but it's getting pretty hot, so I'm going to have to use one of my little nub tools that Sean got me for me. It goes custom made by one of the guys when the pharmacy goes on. But this cigar has actually gotten better, a lot better at the end of it. It started off pretty, strong and spicy in the very beginning, with strong wood notes and stuff. Well, at the end of the cigar, it actually started developing a nice nutty sweetness to it. And now, it's still got a woody core. The spices really got tamed on the end of this cigar. And now there's a nice sweetness to it, but also that coffee bitterness it's come more full front with that one now. I guess because that spiciness kind of hid that flavor. But now the spiciness has really died down. You can still detect it, but it's really faint. So now you're getting a lot of that woodiness and that bitter coffee note. But there's also a sweetness that's in there now that's stronger from about the midpoint back. It slowly started to ramp up, and you also, like I said, you get that nuttiness to it too. But you really get that when you retrohale the cigar. But it's just a hint of it also whenever you just regularly smoking it on your, tasting the smoke on your palate. But all in all, this is a very solid effort from Viaje. I'm really liking this one a lot. I was only going to get a 5-pack of these, but I'm trying to score a box. I'm going to try to get some of these. And also remember, next month is the 12 gauge supposed to be released. And that, like I said, the only difference, they're both 3.5 inch. This is a 54 ring gauge, where that one's a 52 ring gauge. So, will it make much of a flavor difference? I'm not sure, but nevertheless, these are really cool to me. I like the cigar a lot, which is a big plus. That's the biggest thing. But that it's also stacked up, and the box is like an old Peterson Remington shotgun shell box from the 30s, 40s, or 50s. Is really freaking cool, and they're stacked in there just like shotgun shells. That's really cool to me as a gun guy and outdoorsman and all that. That's awesome. I freaking love that. So as soon as I saw them, I was like, oh, I've got to get these. I've got to get boxes of these as soon as I can. And New Havana, I saw they had them online. They're out of stock. They sold out already. But they were $150 a box. That is a great price. I would pay that easily for these sticks. And the thing is, these cigars are smoking pretty good now. They're really good. I like them. But I can see the age potential of this cigar is going to go through the roof. This is the one I think you can sit down and let it rest a while, like even come back to like next year or even 6 months. and I think it's going to be even more phenomenal. I really like this cigar. This is one of my favorites. It is a strong stick. It's definitely strong. So if you like medium, low medium or mild sticks, this is not for you. You don't want this, because this has got some real power to it. It's kind of the powers. I don't know. I think about the Viaje line. It's kind of like the Platinos, with they're more full bodied. It's in that realm. So if you can smoke a Platino and you like them, that's the the kind of the body you like, then this is where this is at. Actually, I think it's probably a tad bit stronger than the Platino, but it's pretty much right there in the same level. So, go with that. So anyway, love it. Love this Viaje. Really awesome. And we'll probably see next week Friends and Family or the Winter Classic, or the other one, and whichever one. The other one will be the next week. So all three of these will be coming up really soon. So on that note, remember, nothing beats a nice tight ash.